Yesterday, me and my little sister had a fight. And the conversation, it started out as a conversation directed at my mom's behavior, but it for me it was a conversation about my little sister's behavior. Many times when I had conversations with her, because I'm a co-owner with my mom with a house, and my sister, college student, everything. She she had begun to do this thing where she had said me and my mom were both equally wrong. She would say that I am mostly correct, but no, I'm still wrong. I'm going about things wrong, and I had gotten to a point where, even though I love my little sister, I had to say, no, you're wrong. If there's not a middleman, I'm correcting this. You you want me to continue to fight or submit for your comfort. You are not allowed to own me. She she constantly had spoken as if I owed her. Like my efforts, my ability, my responsibility was to her, and I had to tell her it wasn't. She kept. See, this is what happens when you go to therapy too much, but you're not actually trying to get better. Um, you will end up using therapeutic words, big words, but you won't actually try to fix these issues. You'll simply just use language as a mask for your bad behavior. She was perfectly capable of comprehending what I was saying. She was actively choosing not to. And if she wasn't, then she should have been aware that she was not capable of comprehending this. She was not in my level. Her maturity was not there. She thought that she was. She thought she was entitled to that, but I had to do a very difficult thing. And that was I had to withdraw the appeasement I was giving to both her and my mother, because that's not how adulting works. I wasn't doing it to be shady. I wasn't doing it as to be spiteful. I was doing it because it was the right thing to do. Yes, it caused a rift. Me and my mother and my little sister will probably never get along the same way, and A, that's good, but B, even if they never like me, they never want to hang out with me or talk to me. I basically had shot her, or no, I passed her the ball. I said, you could either score or you could walk off the court, but the ball is in your hands. That's zero. I said, I'm not happy here, and I'm not entitled to give you any more. I don't have to explain to you any further why my obligation, I'm not obligated to you. The person who is and was and should and has that obligation is your mother. You need to talk to her. I've done everything reasonable. You're following in her behavior and footsteps, or you guys are, to me, both of you, you both are intelligent enough, and even if she wasn't, you're intelligent enough to comprehend what I am saying, and you're going to have to deal with it. You are an adult now. When you were younger, you were put into some positions that that I don't think anyone deserves, but it happens. Such is life. I tried to make it right. You saw that I put effort, and but now I think that we've gotten to a point where it is uneven. Like, I think that you're not even taking down anything. You're putting interest on a debt that I don't really owe, that I was supposed to help pay off, but because I had so much more and I put more down to pay it off, you keep increasing the interest. You to me, my little sister had become more malicious than my mother, because I could say, okay, she spent all this time doing this behavior. Um, the likeliness of her changing, not high. That's not an excuse. She's still going to be accountable, but I could have walked away a lot quicker. It was my sister. Um, why I did a lot of things. Now that's not her fault. It was still at the end of the day my decision, so I have to deal with the consequences. But I say I'm not going to deal with it anymore. And it's not that I'm going to just drop everything on the floor and up and abandon every single thing. I'm not going to. I'm not going to deny that I am obligated to some things, but I said these are my obligations. This is what I feel like my obligations are, and I'm not doing any more. And you can't force me or make me feel bad for just doing what I think is my obligations. People will try to force them and say that you owe me, or no, like if anything, she owes me. And when she's ready, she'll pay. I'm not waiving the debt. I never waive anything anymore. You'll have to pay later on. And even if I don't collect, it will always be there. You just don't know it. You are cutting off an ally. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm going to take my services, my things elsewhere. I got dreams, I got ambitions, I got goals. I'm going to be somebody. You will always search for somebody. Even if you make enough money, you will always search for somebody to be under you, because you'll never have, you'll never really truly want to equal, because you know that's not where you belong. You always want to feel like you're better, because you're not truly better. You want the delusion that you're better. Because if you were actually better, you wouldn't need that second person in the first place. No person that walks normally needs a crutch. You could try to trick everybody around you and say, I'm walking with this crutch because it's fashion. I'm walking with this crutch because I like house. I'm cosplaying. But the truth is, you're walking with that crutch because you need that crutch, or because you had tricked yourself into saying that I need that crutch. You're not willing to walk on your own. You're not willing to go through the pain of correcting yourself because you got scared. I understand. This isn't like anger or malice. This is me doing the best thing for her and putting into her hands her own self, her responsibility to make herself happy. And there was a lot that crossed my mind, because she ended up screaming at the last conversation, just screaming because like a kid, like she did as a kid. When she didn't get her way, she would scream, she would shout, and I said, like, man, I hope she doesn't kill herself. You know, that's how I was like, ooh. Because like people that are mentally unstable like that, you know, they have mental illness. But I said that's not my concern. That's not my prerogative. I don't want her to do this. But I am not entitled to put myself in even more mental and physical and emotional debt and devastation for someone else to who's fully capable of doing it themselves, just because they choose not to. What about me? What about my mental health? And this isn't like a tit for tat. This isn't like, oh, me going, well, she wasn't there for me, so I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be there for her. I have. Like, that's I love her. And that is me saying that I love you and you need to do this yourself. It's that tough love, it's that discipline. I'm not your father. I kept telling that to her, and I don't think she understood. I'm not your father. I done a lot of things when her father had walked out, and that was a painful thing. She got used to me giving her what she needed. I didn't realize that I was giving access. I thought I was giving the bare minimum. She had an abundance. But neither I nor her knew how to utilize it well, so we were burning more coal than needed. We weren't efficient. And she got used to that abundance. So when I went away and I learned how to be efficient, she was still burning a little too much access. I got used to being like, well, that's my little sister, I guess, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But now that I started to be like, hey, you know what? I need to focus on myself. I started to need all those resources. And I said, no. And it just became more of like, no, I'm not your caretaker. I'm your brother. I don't owe you this. I didn't do anything to you. She was like, well, I understand what you're feeling. I'm trying to, no, you're not understanding. I'm not passing by my emotions to you to get a check. I'm telling you this is what's going to happen with me moving on. And this is me giving you a heads up. This is what's going to go into effect. I'm not giving you respect because you didn't do anything to earn my respect. You don't have a position here just because of whatever. If you don't like it, then you're gonna have to leave. You're gonna have to take that up with your mom, with our mom, or with your mom, the person that you really need to take that up with. You're gonna kick, you're gonna scream, you're gonna be like, and if you never get it, you're never going to understand it. I'm free. People like that, they could do crazy things. They could even kill you. But even if she turned that madness onto me, I say that I'm free. People will imprison themselves, but I choose to be free. They will hurt themselves. They will say that their life is over, so you have to die, because they will do anything to just be imprisoned again, because that's what they know, that's what they feel. That's why people are afraid to go to jail. It is only when everything collapses that you could realize, what do you actually truly want to. If you want to be free, then truly believe in freedom, in wanting to be free. The first step is to free yourself. When you are not free, when you are enslaved, you might look at a free person and be envious. A lot of people who are enslaved look at free people and spiteful. They'd be like, well, they're free. Why don't they come help me? If they're so free, why don't they do this? They're trying to tell others what to do with their freedom. But one of the major truths of that freedom is that they're trying to creep you back in and get enslaved, because they're like, oh, well, you failed in freeing me. You owe me to free me. You're going to free me, and I'm not going to do a single ounce of work. I fell into that trap. Whether it's a child, it's a baby, it's something like. I had to realize that I had to free myself. It was just as much work if I was free, if I was born free, to remain free. I was still under the same threats and pressures as you, and you're not acknowledging that. Like, yeah, but I wasn't born into it. I understand. I tried to give the resources. I tried to do what's right. I tried to do what was do right by you, while also maintaining my freedom. And I almost lost that. And if you are going insane, I'm not going to carry you. You're either going to stand with me, do the steps, we're going to figure it out together, or you're going to have to figure it out by yourself. But if I'm free and you're enslaved, you're not going to force me to be enslaved to show you how to get out of slavery. I'm going to look you in the eyes. I don't know how to get out of slavery from that way. That's not me. I'm trying to figure out how to stay free and remain free. So when you get free, I'm gonna teach you how to stay free. When you get free, I'm gonna show you how to live within that freedom if you want to see. Otherwise, stay enslaved. She is a very articulate young lady, but within herself, there is a damage. She had been neglected. She had been, but not in the same way as every other neglect. She had been neglected in discipline. Some were overly doing it. Other cases, she was sheltered and coddled instead of being reprimanded. She was bred to become a very intelligent. She was like my mother, very intelligent, but does not respond well to shame. Like, she's not ashamed of her actions. She thinks that her actions are completely right. She doesn't stop for a second. And because of shame, and because it's like embarrassment, I say that's just shame. She doesn't put herself into situations that would test that pride. That will say, you know what, I can't risk. I'm going to have to just eat that. I'm going to have to take that. I have to build that tolerance. That's embarrassing. That's shameful. I don't like it, but I have to live with it to keep moving forward. She didn't build that resilience. When things get too tough, like she has a very strong personality, which is good. But it's brittle. If it has any sort of defects, it's immediately snapped and it's no longer useful to anyone. It doesn't bend, it doesn't flex. Listen, I'm like tungsten. I know there's a metal that I'm describing that's good, is strong, but it is. I guess it would say like iron versus steel versus tungsten, or even copper. You could just say these all these metals decide. She needs to become and reforge herself into something stronger, more malleable. Sometimes it's not automatically about what's the hardest. It's what are you trying to actually do and get the proper metal for the right time. If you spend your entire life waiting for someone you think is good to forge you, you forget that you are also the forger. You're objectifying yourself because you forget that you are accountable for yourself. Because she wasn't able to see for herself that she was a person, that she could do wrong. Like, her thing was she always observed herself or in this view as a victim. That's what she was taught. Now I'm not going to say wrong or right. She was taught that way. So it's yes, it does regard to the past, and I was there to witness that past. But then I said, but what about the present and the future? When is she going to stop doing that? She's not going to magically one day stop unless someone physically stops it. And I decided I would be the one. I would be the big brother that loves her so much that I would cause that pain. And even if she, dies, she has the potential to be free. She deserves that chance. I'm not saying this out of spite. I'm saying this out of love. you will spend your entire life just finding people that you think lesser than to be around you, trying to fill a void, to use them, misuse them, and you know that it's like in your heart will grow colder and colder because you'll grow for that to be the norm. Before I was shot, I would I would try to hook up with a lot of women. I think that but I was always conflicted. Like I didn't no I knew I was conflicted. I was like I'm doing right. People are telling me right, but I was like no, this feels wrong. And like there was no attraction. There was no anything. I enjoyed the chase more than I enjoyed the act of being with them. Even when I was like the sexual gratification, I was so uncomfortable with them. Even when I tried to force myself to be comfortable, I was so uncomfortable with the situation. This was a stranger. This was someone that I'm like, I don't really know that well. This person could turn out to be really bad. And it was because, all the years of, hearing about child support and accidental babies and then you have a baby mom and you're like, damn, that person is just there. It's like sometimes you have an on and off relationship, but most times when it's coming down to a business or getting to a standpoint or being reasonable, you might not have a reasonable baby mom or baby father. The only time is like when there's a sexual nature, and that will just keep popping up because you're trying to get this person to kind of commit, but you shouldn't. I think biologically, I heard about that phenomenon. You should lower your sexual nature when you're with someone that you're comfortable with because you don't feel like you need to allure them and like lust them into this. Like they will agree even when you're not at a good state. I shouldn't have to convince somebody of my worth by simply just the sexuality aspects. Like my girlfriend, and this is the catalyst. I was changing. My girlfriend had showed me that my actions are good. That I've been doing a lot of good things, and I don't need to. I don't need to lessen myself. I've been doing good. I've been trying, and I've been acknowledged by someone that sees that I try, and I don't have to overextend myself. I don't have to do just one more thing and to get I'm the fact that I'm even doing it, and it's not just like a quick replacement. Oh, thank you. Now I'm like, no, I want to feel. I feel like I'm valid, and now I can do these things with pride, and I don't have to overdo it. I don't have to be afraid of being naked or vulnerable. I don't have to feel afraid to tiptoe or say something that might be uncomfortable. I feel like I could talk to someone, receive something that I'm able to fully articulate myself, listen to some hard things, and someone's going to be honest and genuine and say, yeah, I've been working on myself and I care about myself. So I'm saying this not because I necessarily want to, but because I need to. So I'm going to tell you what I honestly think, and I want you to tell me what you honestly think. Or in this case, I don't think that you really need an input. I really feel like this. I have to give you this ultimatum. Or before we ever get to this point, I'm going to provide my case. Please hear it. I'm being genuine. I won't say case. Case kind of feels weird, but it's the gist is just authenticity, saying what needs to be said for both of our sakes. My sister did not do that. She was willing to say like, "Hey, man, you just got to keep taking that on chin, so I'm comfortable." Don't you see how bad of a position I'm in? Don't you see how bad life's been to me? And I'm like, I had grown to a point where I'm like, I don't care. What about me? Like you're sitting here and you're very quick to put your woes, and what you would do was say, "You're just like your mom. You're just like." I was like, "Okay, then I am." She's like, well, you don't sound like you're being respectful. I'm not denying anything. I said to her multiple times, "Hey, whatever your perspective of me is probably true. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying I'm not doing that anymore, and you can't make me do it. You literally have no power over me to do it, and like I'm not doing it. You're feeling that you own me is not you owning me. I'm not going to do it. You're demanding me respect you. I'm not going to do it. Kill me then. I'm not going to do it. You saying that I owe you, I did. Then I don't know." She's like, "You owe me money." I'm like, "All right, you'll get paid when I have the money." Because as it was standing, I was paying her bills. I went out to take her to the airports. I was the one that picked her up. I went to her doctor's appointments. Things that she never returned the favor for me. But I said it was none of that. Like, it is important to remember those things, because if someone's always going to remember the value that they owe, remember that your time, your patience, your presence is also a value. And I said, if you want to remind me of a debt, I should be able to do the same. And if you're never going to, and I said that as a not as a way of just showing her a very visceral piece of evidence that you have never counted that, and you haven't even started. You didn't start to tick the things off. You didn't start to be like, all right, you were very malicious, and she was very calculated in her words of trying to make it sound somber and agreeable, very HR, but it was malicious because it really didn't truly change her. It just said, I'll I'll hit the relief valve, let a little steam out, but not too much." I'm like, "No, all the pressure needs to go." She's like, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep the pressure on." I'm like, "Then I'm going to hit the relief valve. All this steam is going to come out because I'm not like exploded, whatever. I'm getting this pressure out." You deciding that to be the controller, um, that's like that's a painful thing. uh, it was an amusing conversation because like I kept trying to end it. I said, "Listen, you got the last word. You got the last word." Uh, and all I wanted to do, like, it wasn't me wanting to say the last word, but I needed to say, "Hey, I acknowledge you. I don't agree." She tried trying to do this tactic, and people will try to do this tactic. It's a manipulation where they say something that they perceive that they like. Okay, that's agreeable. You'll listen to that. You'll respect that. And I'm like, no, I don't. She was like, "Well, you respect to keep the house clean because like we all say that we want a clean house." And I'm like, "Yeah, I want a clean house." Now I didn't say this to her, but this part, I want a clean house. That's true. But if I'm usually doing the majority of the cleaning, or if I'm exhausted to a point where I can't do the cleaning, I'm expected to do more work than my fair share and do that quote unquote agreeable thing. I'm not doing it, then the house is going to remain dirty until we come to a conclusion of I'm getting equally and fairly treated. I'm not cleaning the house. Let the house be dirty. If I said if I lose the house, then I said I'm fine with that because like I'm making the right concessions. I'm paying the majority of the stuff. I'm doing my part. This was what was expected of me. I am performing at overperforming in my duties. And I'm still young myself. You have multiple full-grown adults that are expected to do nothing, that never paid anything back, that never had come to my rescue, that weren't able or capable of helping me in a single way. And right now I'm in my I'm about to leave my apartment room for the last time because and I had to move and pack everything by myself, move everything by myself out. Uh, and I was fine. Like in fact, my big sister did come. She didn't help, but she brought the car, and that was help. At least she was capable of doing that drive. I'm like, all right, I don't feel like driving. She was able to do that. So I'm acknowledging that. My little sister has never done that for me, and it's not to pin them against each other. It's like my big sister put me in positions that unfathomable decisions that the reason had kids when I had said that this would hurt me, but that's in the past. Okay, I'm willing to accept the consequences. She has to live her consequences. I think that we both got to a point where it's like we're wasting too much energy fighting each other, and let's just handle the business that we have to handle. And if that means that we separate, then that's what we separate. And I'm like, I'm cool with that. My little sister has never shown up for me. She didn't even hug me when I got shot when my leg was open. That I peeped that because I was like, how much more important was your well being, your mental well being to mine? She couldn't even do that for me. She doesn't think about that, but I think about that. There was a day where my niece, she wanted a hot dog. My big sister had made the hot dog left, so she made two hot dogs. My big sister gave her one, and my niece wanted the other one, but she was gone. My mom was at work. I was there. My little sister was there, and I said, "Hey, I finally got into a comfortable position for my leg, which was in excruciating pain." And I said, "Oh man, I want to lay down here." My niece came. She said she wanted the second hot dog. My little sister, she was upstairs. I said, "Well, your grandma's at work." Then we called your auntie. Called her. Said, "Hey, uh, like our sister left. Our niece wants the second hot dog. It's already made. Can you just give it to her?" Hours go by. Like not like I think an hour. Niece comes back, bothering me. I was almost asleep. She said, "I still want the hot dog." I was like, "What?" I was first angry at my niece. I'm like, "What?" She was like, "I didn't get the hot dog." I'm like, "What?" And I called my little sister. My little sister was like I'm going through a lot of doing. I'm like, all you got to do is get a hot dog. I start screaming at my sister. I give my niece the hot dog. I give, but I go upstairs. I start yelling because I'm in pain. I'm angry. I'm bitter. I'm annoyed. I'm frustrated. And it was not because I had to get up and get the hot dog. It was because I did all the correct steps. And you still, because of her petty way of wanting to get back at my sister, she didn't hurt my sister. She hurt my niece. She hurt me. Because she felt vindicated. I helped her for so many years, and she had hurt me and put me in a bad situation. I'm like, and I'm not gonna help anymore. I'm like, but I asked you for help. Well, that's not my responsibility and not my job. And I said, no, okay. Listen, at the time, I said, my mom tried to appease it, and she was wrong to do that. I don't believe that she made the right choice. No, I believe both of them made the right choices. It wasn't for me to say wrong or right. That's what they did. Say the choice that I should have made was not to get in bed with people like that. So I said, hey, you know what? Now I still remember that I if you felt so strongly, then I'm gonna feel so strongly. I'm not doing that as a tit for tat. You clearly want to do something else. Even if now you want to change or now things want to change, it's too late to change it in that way. I'm not going to sit there and hold it while I gave you baby steps to do it. And now that you feel like you want to do it, the option's over. I spent my life burning myself out. I feel like I'm way too old. I can't bring my girlfriend back to my house without someone being at my house. I can't experience my life, my luxuries, because other people don't want to do their own stuff. I'm not going to champion somebody else to get to a position. I'm going to work hard. That's why I'm even making these. I'm going to work hard, tell my life, be articulate, and I'm going to find an audience that likes to hear what I'm saying and grow from there. I'm going to do what I need to do to not only to free myself, but to remain free. And I've already done the start. I'm free because I said I have dreams, I have ambitions, I have goals, I have people around me that actually care to be around. Cutting yourself off from toxic people. I've had toxic friends. I've had there's no such thing as a fake friend. I know that we say it and it's like a term coined because it's easy to put them in a category. And I think it's good to say it as a category, but a fake friend is not a friend at all. It's just, it's a person that is very close to you that wants to harm you under the guise of a friend. But I still say that I still love them. There's not one person I don't love, even fake friends or quote unquote fake friends or family. I can love you from a distance. I don't have to love you and you be in my circle. Family to me is a choice. See, I say you're my biological kin does not mean that you're my family. See, when I realized this, when I got some news about money, when I was sitting there with my girlfriend, looking her in the eyes, and like, yeah, she's the one I'm gonna tell. Unconsciously, and then I had to bring myself into consciousness. I'm going to put her under the name of my will. I'm going to put her as my emergency contact. I'm going to put her as the person. That's insane. This is the person that I'm going to look to when I'm hurt, when there's going to be a decision, because she knows me better than my mother, than my sister, than either of my sisters or brothers. She knows me better. That's insane, right? You're like, wow. And it's like with her, it's not just the bias of who I was, like, because she heard who I was, heard me say who I was, and I said, okay, you're a reliable source of telling me who you were, and now you're telling me who you are and who you want to be, and she believes me. My family had the issue of like either being indifferent to me or putting me down. And I say, okay, you know what? I don't like the energy or the lack thereof. I need love. I need someone to be like to say, hey, I'm highly against this. This is why. Or I need someone to be like, yes, go ahead, go do it, live your dream. Or I gotta have someone. Sorry, I have to have someone say, hey, if that's your dream, I don't quite understand. Can you sit down and have a deep conversation and explain what it is? But I need someone committed, and I'm committed to do the same with them. I spent my entire life around people that that no, I won't say that. I think this was normal. This was the way for me to I saw the world within my family. And I still do. But I was never going to grow or heal if I did not confront that and deal with that pain. It's a pain to say that you're going to finish the finish line by yourself. But the truth is, I'm not. I'm taking with them everything. They're still with me. Yeah, has it always been the nicest thing? No, at least not what I feel. But did I grow? Did I learn? I don't regret a single thing that I did because it showed who I was. I won't do kind things and then become this wicked person. If I do wicked things, I gotta be accountable for myself. I gotta say, yeah, I did these things. I don't want to do these things anymore. I don't like it. I want to change. I want to be different. I want to improve. These are the things I want to improve on. I stumble. It's true, but I don't make it a habit to stumble. I'm not intentionally stumbling. I'm not lying to myself. Oh, I stumbled. No, if I stumbled, then I actually stumbled. I'm not thinking about it. It's like it just happens, and I'm trying to get back up and run in good formation and pattern right after. I'm not making excuses for myself. I don't need to plead my case. And I'm willing to say, yeah, if this puts me on the firing squad, then let it be, because I'm happy with being that person, because I'm being that person. It's not like once I make it, like, oh yes, I made it to 1 million views, I can say, no, I'm already becoming, I already am, and I want to continue to be. That is the drive and thirst for life. I am living. I am living. I'm not, I refuse to just survive. I refuse to hope to live one day. I demand to be, like, I demand to myself to be alive. I got up. I dealt with being shot, the depression of losing friends, the loss of career, and functionality in my leg, disability. Recognizing the years of the trauma, the emotional neglect, the stunting, the racism, the bigotry, the heck, there was neglect because of my biological aspects. There's conversations that these things had leaked down into my relationships, and now people have a view of me that that I don't particularly like, but I don't hate, because like that was the view that they needed of me, because that's what I was at that time. And I've improved. I've gotten better, and I'm happy. I'm freeing myself, and with that, look at your. I say, look at me. I'm free. Free yourself. Want it so bad that you will do anything to get that freedom, to be like me. But just know that I'm not going to be fooled into losing my freedom so you could be free. If you're trying, because you'll never be free if you have to trade places. That's not freedom. You think, oh wow, I got this easy deal. I'll take his freedom, and in turn I will be free. But you'll always be enslaved. You can never take someone else's freedom to free yourself, because your conscience, because who you are, because what you do, you won't know. No one will be around you. All the other free people will avoid you. They'll be like, no, it's just a one time. Is it? You would do it again? You would, if they came back and said you're easy, you would sell us all out. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. You don't know why to do it. Your incompetence is a danger to us all. But you're like, well, then teach me. No, I'm not. I will not teach you. You did not earn anything. I don't see any drive to live. I don't see anything. Why give you anything? And your anger will turn, well, now that I see you, I will tell the location of where you're at. You become spiteful because their word will become true. The truth hurts. And the longer that you live in lies, that truth will be like alcohol. It will be cleansing. It will rip into your skin because it's disinfecting you. When you've lived into germs so long, when your body is fighting off infections, that's why we get colds. That's why our body begins to make these putrid smells. It's healing. It's trying to fight these infections. It's trying to fight. But if you allow yourself to succumb, it feels better to live in bile. It feels better to not do anything at all. It becomes numb. It becomes non-existent. But that anger, quick to anger, you will call upon the enslavers because you say, well, it's not my doing. They refused to teach me. I had no other way to go. I had to do that. Everyone's fault but your own. Everyone's wrong but you. The people that you wanted to be in community with you did not want to be in community with you with valid reasons that you will never even understand are valid because you're too busy wanting to feel self-righteous and invalid. You demand respect from things that you really didn't earn. I was a victim too. I was enslaved too. Yes, we're aware of that. When we might not have been enslaved, but we've seen your suffering. We acknowledge you. But are you truly free? Because from what I see, I don't think you're free. Because when you are free, you never really have to ask, am I free? Or you never really act as if you're not free. You don't have to tell it to anyone else that you're free. You yourself are free. In fact, the only time you question is like if someone came up to you and you're actually free and someone says, are you free? You think about it, am I free? What does it mean to be free? And you might even go on a journey just a whole lifetime to just, yeah, no, I'm free. You even if you're enslaved physically, you could still be free. What does it mean to be free? You might do things. You might be physically enslaved at that moment, bound, forced to do these things. But if you're like, hey, if I stay quiet for this long, it doesn't matter if it's 7 years. I can go to begin to do the things that I like. It's freedom. That's choice. You choose the consequence to tie yourself down, to put yourself in a position. Just because you know in a grander scheme, it will lead to your freedom. If I said, I'll spend 20 years in jail because I killed someone or if someone touches my kid, I'll be like, yeah, I'm spending them 20 years in jail, 15 years in jail, whatever. But I know every day that my whoever is not going to be affected by that person, and that's worth it. I am free. I am content. They will have to face other things. It was not my want to just be in here all the time, but I can make peace with that. Because I knew that they would never truly be free if every day of their life they're looking over their shoulder for that specific person. I am free. And in 20 years, when I see that person, heck, it's not even gonna be in 20 years. When that person comes and visits me every year, every other day, and I tell them, hey, live your life, and I'll see you on these events. I see them these events, and then 20 years hits. I'm hugging that person. And even if I died the next day, I was free for a lifetime. I was free. That's it.